Shalom, Kal Halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKadosh, double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us his truth. Shalom and salutations to all the brothers out pushing the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, the Akwat that are listening and learning, being a pillar of rest, the 144,000, the 1/3, the hopeful elect. I'm the brother Yahshua, back with the WW3 Daily update. Shalom and salutations to you all. All right, so we're going to talk about the N-word today and how the N-word relates to World War III. And when I say N-word, I mean Hitler's troop, the National Socialist Party. Okay, so where are we going to start? I thought we already got this. Start the meet. Okay. Let's get this. Come on. Do it. Isaiah 13:17. What is this about? In the King James, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. And the way we break this down is I is the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. First, some are the Babylonians, the Americans. Okay? Now, what does it mean? God is going to stir up the Medes, stir up the Russians. What does it mean? Like some Nestle's Quick, you're gonna stir it up. You get 2 heaping spoonfuls, put it in some milk and stir it up, right? Well, what does stir up mean? Well, let's look it up. Stir up, definition. To stir up, cause or provoke trouble or bad feeling. So God is doing what? He's causing or provoking trouble against the Medes. Bad feeling against the, let's read it again. Okay? To provoke, cause or provoke trouble or bad feeling. Okay? Read it again. Behold, God says, I will cause or provoke trouble against the Babylonians. Salakia, I'm going to use the Babylonians to stir up the Medes, right? To cause trouble or to provoke them. I'm going to use the Babylonians to provoke Russia. What does this say? Provoke. Provoke trouble. All right, so this is saying God is going to use the Americans, Babylon the Great, to provoke the Medes, to get them ready to fight. And they can't be bought off. They can't be bribed to say no. No peace, no safety, only sudden destruction. All right, so let's see. Now we're going to watch this. Jackson Hinkle, 46 minutes ago, U.S. N-word admits CIA sent him to fight in Ukraine. What? There's Babylon. Here's Babylon. Right? Doing what? They sent this N-word here to fight who? Vlad and the Medes in Ukraine. You see how, first of all, I thought the fight was between Ukraine and the Russians. What is this? U.S. is sending troops, Nazi troops. See that? So let's watch this. Take it away, Jackson Hinckley, like John Hinckley.
When the war in Ukraine started, Medvedev, Putin, Lavrov, they all said that one of the main reasons why they launched this invasion of Ukraine.
The devil. Come on, devil. Oh. Start this again.
Nazi Ukraine.
Started.
When the war in Ukraine started, Medvedev, Putin, Lavrov, they all said that one of the main reasons why they launched this invasion of Ukraine was to denazify Ukraine. Now, there's a lot of people who said, denazify Ukraine? Oh my goodness, this is just bogus. There's no Nazis in Ukraine. These are poor Ukrainian people that just want a better life. They don't want war. Well, the past 8 years say otherwise, because they were the ones pushing the levers of war each and every day as Nazi contingents and paramilitary groups such as Azov, Right Sector, Adar were literally waging a war against the people in the Donbass, ethnic Russians, okay? This is nothing new. And it's very clear that this is still the case. Medvedev came out this week. He said Ukraine's Western backers are pro-Nazi coalition, 100% correct. Ukraine has now even developed a secret assassination squad. This is according to their ex-SBU security chief. Kiev decided it was not enough to imprison Russian collaborators and that they had to be eliminated. Valentin Nalivaychenko has claimed the security service of Ukraine has a dedicated assassination program responsible for taking out Russian collaborators. The former head of the agency has claimed in an interview with The Economist. So The Economist is reporting on this. According to the former official, the Special SBU division dates back to at least 2015 and was formed from the Elite 5th Counterintelligence Directorate after Ukraine's leaders at the time decided that imprisoning people was not enough. Quote, we reluctantly came to the conclusion that we needed to eliminate people. That's what he told the British magazine The Economist. Okay, so take that into account. This is the guy who is the ex-chief under Poroshenko. Poroshenko, the president who, put the monument up and declared that Stefan Bandera was a hero of Ukraine, the Nazi from World War II. Okay, now taking all of that into account, I want to switch gears here a little bit and actually do a fact check, because we know the fact checkers don't really fact check anything. The fact checkers manipulate the truth, and what we do know about the fact checkers and the liberal press, if there's one thing we know about them, is they never miss an opportunity to call someone a Nazi. They never do it. Okay, they will call anyone and everyone a Nazi. They will call me a Nazi for wearing this hat that I got in D.C. They'll call a random, working class American farmer in West Virginia a Nazi because he lives in West Virginia and he's white. They'll call Syria a bunch of Nazis. They'll call China Nazis. They'll call Putin Nazi. They'll call anyone a Nazi. Anyone who's a malign sovereign actor that is in some way or another challenging the status quo in the United States, they will call them a Nazi because they don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do with it, and they know that the number one evil is to compare them to like Voldemort or Hitler. That's all they can do. But there is one Nazi story that the Western mainstream media has refused to discuss since February 24, 2022. And that is the story about the most prolific, prominent, and violent group of Nazis on the face of the planet today. And those are the Nazis in Ukraine. But guess what? Some of these Nazis actually are not from Ukraine. They're from the United States. They're from all across the world, from Brazil, from Poland, from America. And they're going to Ukraine to go and fight. But some of these Nazis have actually come back to the United States. They were in Florida this week, around Orlando. I want to share a clip from you because they went out to protest above some highway, it appears to be. They were wearing swastika chains. They were Sieg Heiling. They were saying, well, I'll show you what they're saying because they have some positive words for Mr. Biden, President Biden, and what he's doing in Ukraine.
Christopher, there's a presidential race going on right now. Are you going to vote in 2024? What do you think is going to happen?
My vote is useless. I think Biden's bearing Trump because he sends rockets to Ukraine.
In support of Ukraine, you mean?
Hell Ukraine, hell Azov.
Christopher,
Ukraine, slam Ukraine. then you have Boneface. That's his name. Boneface in the back right here. This, I thought all the Nazis, I thought they were white supremacists, but they're allowing green people into their ilk now as well. So you have this guy. His name's Boneface. We're going to be talking about him in a moment. But this guy right here, he's an interesting fellow. So Boneface actually fought in Ukraine in 2015. He was a part of the human sacrifice of ethnic Russians in the Donbass when they placed an ethnic Russian. They captured him, a POW, in the fighting. And in 2015, they put him on a cross. I mean, these guys are all pagan Nazis. They put him on a cross, sacrificed him, and lit him on fire, and he was in that video. So that's who he is. This guy, he's got the swastika chain on, and listen again one more time what he said, and then I'll show you another clip of him.
Christopher, there's a presidential race going on right now. Are you going to vote in 2024? What do you think's going to happen?
My vote is useless. I think Biden's bearing Trump because he sends rockets to Ukraine.
The little Sieg Heil right there, by the way. Yeah. So this is the one and only Nazi story that no one in the Western press is going to cover. And keep in mind, there was actually one outlet who did cover this. I will say, I'll give credit where credit is due. The Rolling Stone covered this protest. Rolling Stone magazine covered this protest, which is, the editor-in-chief of Rolling Stone is a man by the name of Dan Shatman, who wanted to write a hit piece on me. Then they were caught defaming me before the piece even came out, and the piece was canceled. But Dan Shatman he's a military-industrial complex stooge. He's a deep state whore. He literally had an outlet specifically oriented around promoting the military-industrial complex, spy technologies, before he was editor-in-chief of Rolling Stone. And now he runs the Rolling Stone, and they did an article on these fellas here, and these guys, the name of the article was DeSantis supporters rally with Nazi flags and necklaces in Florida. DeSantis supporters. Listen to this one more time. Tell me, are these DeSantis supporters?
Christopher, there's a presidential race going on right now. Are you going to vote in 2024? What do you think's going to happen?
My vote is useless. I think Biden's bearing Trump because he sends rockets to Ukraine.
In support of Ukraine, you mean?
Hell Ukraine, hell Asia.
Christopher, there's a presidential race.
No, those are Biden supporters. They say they support Biden because he's sending the rockets to Ukraine. Now,
All right, so good enough. We'll end it right there so you can see what's going on. Now, here's a question. What did the Nazis do to Russia in World War II? Holocaust in the Soviet Union. Let's check this out. One of the most barbaric moments. Soviet Jews, okay. So, Holocaust in Russia. I'm not really looking for a Holocaust. How many Russians died in the Holocaust? No. Documenting numbers of victims. This is talking about Holocaust. World War II casualties of the Soviet Union. Let's look at this. I don't know how to read that. A million. Not 27 million. All right. So, yeah, it was crazy. what the Nazis did. Okay, see, what is this? World War II casualties of the Soviet Union. Wait a minute. Who fought in World War II? The Nazis. Who fought against the Nazis in World War II? The Russians. Okay? All right? So when they say 6 million Jews, right? How many Russians died? Right? And do you think that they're cool right now with not the fighting Nazis over there right now? Okay? I would have to say no. So where is this going? Okay? Ukraine is decidedly losing the war over there, so now NATO has to step it up, right? And get involved. And this is what they're looking for, right? Expanding the war and taking it to a new level. Let's see. Let's look at, just going to quickly, not combat veteran. Oh. Let's look at Dina real quick. Let's see what Dina's saying. I think she had a quick one the other day. Let's see. One day ago. Let's watch a little bit of that. The point is that the Medes are being stirred up. What do you think? Who has the most nukes? Period. Vlad does. Okay? So are they not being stirred up? Is Vladimir Putin not being stirred up? Pursuant to Isaiah 13 and 17? Stir up, stir up. Awaken. Put the Medes in motion against them. Is that what we see? I am sending them to attack. Where's that? I am sending them to attack Babylonia. That's America. Right? The Medes can't be bought off. The Russians against the Americans. What we just watched, the Nazi was saying, well, it was the U.S. government, the CIA that sent me, not the Ukrainians. So they're clearly being stirred up. And Babylon is being relentless. So Vlad knows he doesn't, nigga, I got to use these damn nukes. So here's where it's going. Let's watch Adina. One day ago, nuclear war inevitable. Russia warns, right, return of U.S. nuclear weapons to UK-U.S. test nuclear missile. Oh, that's different. Okay, it says Russia warns return of U.S. nuclear weapons to UK, and then U.S. test nuclear missile. Okay, so let's listen to a little bit of Dina. Here we go with this bullshit. Come on, devil. I'm going to have to recook this whole video. Right?
In the last 48 hours. And I first would like to talk about North Korea and Russia, as it has been reported that apparently the North Korean leader will visit Russia soon to discuss the North Korean anti-tank missile systems, but only if Russia will give North Korea information about their nuclear-capable submarine technology. North Korea may supply Russia with more weaponry for its war in Ukraine and other military cooperation.
What does this say? It says World War III. You got Rocket Man over here. You got the new Adolf Schicklgruber over here. At least that's what they're calling him. He's not stirred up. This dude is getting his ducks in a row. For what? This is this guy being stirred up. Oh, nigga, let me go get the homies. Let me put that call. Put that call out. Get some reinforcements.
Kim Jong-un plans to travel to Russia this month to hold a leader-level diplomatic engagement with Putin, according to the New York Times. Officials say that Kim, who rarely travels outside his country, is likely to make the trip this month to Russia. Moscow has also taken steps to strengthen its military ties with North Korea, with the Russian defense minister claiming on Monday that the two countries may hold joint war games. It also comes after the defense minister traveled to North Korea last month in a bid to convince North Korea to sell artillery ammunition to the Kremlin. It goes on further to report that last week the White House said that Russia was already in secret active talks with the North to acquire a range of munitions and supplies for Moscow's fight in Ukraine. The U.S. has reason to think that Kim expects these discussions to continue and to include leader-level diplomatic engagement in Russia. The National Security Council spokeswoman Adrienne Watson stated that, as we have warned publicly, arms negotiations between Russia and the DPRK are actively advancing. We have information that Kim Jong-un expects these discussions to continue to include leader-level diplomatic engagement in Russia. Watson also stated that the U.S. urged North Korea to cease its arms negotiations with Russia and abide by the public commitments that North Korea has made to not provide or sell arms to Russia. The White House also reported last week that it had intelligence indicating that Putin and Kim swapped letters following the defense minister's visit. And finally, it reports that although North Korea denied supplying arms to Russia, they did in fact supply infantry rockets and missiles to Russia last year for use by the privately controlled Wagner military group.
Which is no different than the United States sending weapons and money to the Ukraine, further stirring up the Medes.
Also been reported that North Korea is seeking nuclear submarine technology from Russia. In the meantime, it had been reported that Russian President Putin stated on Monday that the landmark deal allowing Ukraine to export grain safely through the Black Sea will not be restored until the West meets Moscow's demands on its own agricultural exports. Putin's remarks dashed hopes that his talks with the Turkish President Erdogan could revive an agreement seen as vital for global food supplies, especially in Africa, the Middle East, and Asia.
They're going to feed them Africans and get them to join too. That Erdogan, this is Turkey. Okay? You go to Ezekiel 38, it says exactly this. This dude is stirred up. He's preparing for World War III. And we can watch the rest of this. This is good. That's good enough. Let me see. Is he shaking hands with anybody else? We're going to go ahead and close. What's this about?
On peace, bury the hatchet on the territory of the enemy along with him. So we need to be prepared. Prepare the army, the state, the economy, and the population of the country. In the meantime, the Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman stated that Russia would regard any return of U.S. nuclear weapons to bases in Britain as an escalation and a destabilizing practice. She also said that such a practice is openly anti-Russian in nature, as it provides for joint planning and regular training exercises for the prompt delivery of nuclear strikes by members of NATO, which...
That's all we need. If you can't see World War III, this is not going the other way. They're not discussing peace. They're not coming to the table to see how we can not, right? How can we prevent mutually assured destruction? That is not on the table. Okay? It's just not. We'll give you 30 pieces of silver and 20 pieces of gold. Well, they can't be bribed. They cannot be tempted. They cannot be bribed. Where's bribed? Tempted by silver or bribed with gold. Nothing is going to turn this thing around. All right? So this is the time clock. If you want to know how the world is going to come to an end, it's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine, is going to come like this from these ICBMs and nuclear weapons. So this is the time clock as to how much time is left, and all you got to do is keep up with where the war is, all right? And it's coming. Nobody can stop it, and it's coming soon, according to the precept, the scriptures. Revelation 11 and 14. In any version, the second woe has passed. Second woe, World War II, where the Nazis were involved, remember? And what is Vlad over there? Who are they using to stir Vlad up? The Nazis. Behold, the third woe is coming shortly, all right? So get your plan together, all right? With that, and your plan should be repent and be converted. That's the plan. Get into the strong tower of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Anyway, with that, we hope that the elect will edify you, brothers and sisters. Shalom.